What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, here today to run down the top 10 4K releases that I need to happen in 2022. So first off, guys, Happy New Year. We are in a brand new year, so it's full of excitement, lots of possibilities, lots of stuff that could be happening in the physical media world, in the movie world, and I'm super excited about it. All the new movies, all the new physical media releases. It's a very exciting time. So I thought I would make this video just kind of running down kind of like my wish list for what I want to happen in 2022. Not necessarily what is going to happen. I don't have any insider knowledge on any of this stuff. A couple of these have been rumored, but none of these have been announced. None of these are slated for any release date. And some of these, quite honestly, probably just won't happen in 2022. Actually, probably half of them will not happen. But if all of them could happen in 2022, I would be really excited. So I got some 4K upgrades. Also, there is one, because I kind of titled this video as top 10 4Ks that I want to come out, but one of the ones that we're going to go over, I would take Blu-ray or 4K for. We'll get to that in a second. It might make a little bit more sense when I get to it. So before I get started, guys, running down the top 10 4K releases that I need to happen in 2022. I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber to the Mid-Level Media channel, first off, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more great content. Also, be sure to like this video, guys, and comment down below the 5 to 10 4K releases that you really want to happen in 2022. I definitely want to know about that. And be sure to turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. So let's get into my top 10 list, guys. I've got all the Blu-rays right here. I've even got some DVDs right here as well. So we're going to go over this top 10. And the first one that I want to talk about is quite possibly the only, I think 2010s movie that I have in my list. And I usually don't necessarily get excited about like newer movies that have come out in the past 10 years because the transfers aren't always the most drastic improvement. But this one I feel like would be if they brought it out, and that is Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that this would make a phenomenal, first off, this is a phenomenal movie. It's one of the best movies of the 2010s. Jake Gyllenhaal absolutely gave an Oscar-worthy performance. I don't even think he was nominated for this role, so absolutely should have been. It's a great film. It's one of Bill Paxton's last movies as well, which Bill Paxton will come up on this list again, I promise you. But Jake Gyllenhaal is so good in this movie. I love this movie, but I think this would make a fantastic 4K release. Like the cinematography in this movie is fantastic. The night setting in LA would just look fantastic in 4K. This movie's almost all set at night. I think it is all set at night. Actually, but yeah, I think the colors in this will look amazing. It kind of reminds me of like a modern day Taxi Driver. So I think that with all the lights, the street lights in the city, just in the night, just everything that's going on in this movie, I think it would look absolutely phenomenal in 4K. So this is one that we definitely need to happen in 2022. Again, don't know if it will, but it is one that I need to happen in 2022. I need Nightcrawler in 4K. So the next one that I'm going to talk about, guys, is a 2007 horror anthology film, and it's a fan favorite. It's become a fan favorite. Scream Factory put this one out, I think, a couple of years ago, but I just have the standard Blu-ray, and that's Trick or Treat. So a lot of people have been calling for the 4K on this one, and I can really honestly see Scream Factory answering that call this year. I can see them putting this out on 4K, probably October, probably be a premium release in October. You know, they just worked with Michael Dougherty on Krampus, so yeah, I can absolutely see them behind the scenes. They're working on Trick or Treat right now. I can almost I feel like 95% guarantee that we're going to get Trick or Treat. Again, I have no insider knowledge. I know nothing, but I really feel like we're going to get Trick or Treat in 2022. Maybe it would be 2023, but sooner rather than later, we'll get Trick or Treat in 4K. We have to. But yeah, Trick or Treat's a great horror anthology. I think it would look absolutely fantastic in 4K. The movie already looks great anyway, but this is a very colorful film as well, set in Halloween. I really feel like this would make a great 4K release for Scream Factory in 2022. So hopefully we'll get that to happen. The next one, guys, my number 8 4K that I need to happen in 2022. This was rumored last year, and a lot of people have been shutting this one down since. But Twister. I would absolutely love this to be in 4K. This movie, I love it. This is my favorite disaster film of all time, and I just think it would look fantastic. I'm just picturing some of the scenes right now, just how good they would look. I think the effects of the tornado absolutely hold up. I haven't watched this Blu-ray yet. I think the last time I watched it was on streaming, but just thinking of that F5 tornado at the end, the landscape of the cornfield Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton are running through, thinking about that drive-in scene with The Shining playing, just thinking about everything, all the big like disaster, destruction sequences in this film just in 4K. It just makes my mouth water. I really want to see this film in 4K, and hopefully we get that in 2022. So getting into my number 7 4K release that I need to happen in 2022. This is a film that came out in 2007. Kind of like, I would call this almost a modern Western, almost horror Western in nature, I would say as well, but drama really too. It was nominated for Best Picture in 2008, and that is There Will Be Blood, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. So Paul Thomas Anderson is another, what a lot of people would call like the best modern day director. And I don't know, I'm trying to think right now off the top of my head, if he has any of his movies in 4K. I think that's another director that might have a grip on all of his movies as far as like supervising the transfer of them. So I don't think any of his films have a 4K transfer. Well, no, they do. I think The Phantom Thread got a 4K transfer, and that is his most recent film, but I don't think any of the other ones outside of that have 4K releases. Boogie Nights is another one that I would love to be on 4K, but I did not include that in this list. But There Will Be Blood, it's such a sprawling, epic Western drama movie with great cinematography. I think this would look phenomenal in 4K, and I think we need it in 2022. So getting into my number 6, this is another Martin Scorsese film. We've been getting a lot of Martin Scorsese films in 4K lately. We got in Taxi Driver. We got the Wolf of Wall Street. We've gotten a lot of the Martin Scorsese, Casino, Goodfellas, although Goodfellas isn't necessarily praised for its 4K transfer. So we've been getting the classic Scorsese. The Aviator is apparently on the horizon, Hugo, but the one that I really want, and I think would look great in 4K, is Raging Bull. So this is definitely one of his best films. This is what I call the anti-Rocky. You think about Rocky and just like the message it sends and what it means to people. You watch Raging Bull and it just feels like Robert De Niro's character is like the anti-Rocky in that movie. But this is a great film, another black and white film. They've been doing a lot of great work with black and white restorations in 4K between the Universal Monsters collection and also, you know, Psycho that came out in 4K. But I just think that this will look fantastic in 4K. It's a classic movie, definitely one of Martin Scorsese's best films, and I really, really need this in 4K in 2022. So Raging Bull is the other one that I would say. Getting into my top 5, guys, and these are, there's a lot of horror titles in this top 5 because I love watching horror titles in 4K, and I just think that we need more of them. But this top one right here is not a horror film. There's horrific elements about it, though, and it's definitely came out the same year as There Will Be Blood. I always pair these two movies together in my mind, and this is another one that absolutely needs a 4K transfer. It's a Coen Brothers film, and that is No Country for Old Men. So this won Best Picture the year that it came out. This is just one of the best movies. I would say this is in the top 5 best movies of the 21st century. I think this is a phenomenal film, kind of like a neo-Western, a new age Western film. I love this movie. Javier Bardem is just one of the best villains of the 21st century, maybe of all time, of any movie. Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones in this movie. This is a fantastic film, much like There Will Be Blood. You know, it's got great cinematography, just kind of like a sprawling Western setting and landscape to it. I think it will look great in 4K, and it's just one of the best movies ever made. It's one that when I think about it, I'm so surprised we don't already have 4K transfer. I mean, Coen Brothers films, we've got a couple of them on 4K. We've got, I think, The Big Lebowski. Is The Big Lebowski it? That might be it, but we need Fargo too. Fargo's another one I didn't include in this list, but I would love to get Fargo in 4K as well. So yeah, No Country for Old Men, guys. We need it. We need it right now. So Coen Brothers, get cracking on this one. No Country for Old Men in 4K. So getting into my top 4, guys. And these are a couple of these have already been rumored, but you know, who knows if we'll actually get them. So my number 4 is Poltergeist. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. I don't care who puts it out, whether it's Warner Brothers, whether it's Scream Factory, Arrow Video, anybody. I don't care who puts this out. Again, we had this rumored in 2021, but it kind of went away and I haven't heard anything about it. So I'm just really hoping we get this. And Warner Brothers did great work on The Shining. So I hope that they do it honestly, and they take the same kind of care as they did with that movie with this one, because I just think that this will look absolutely fantastic in 4K as well. So another classic horror film that I'm just surprised. Like, we're running out of the classics, so they've done a lot of those in recent years. So I think that this is the last, like one of the last big ones. We're going to talk about another one here in a second, but this is one of the last big ones that we really need to get in that 4K quality. So Poltergeist is my number 4. My number 3 comes from another director that we have one 4K transfer for as of right now, and that's thanks to the Columbia Classics box set volume 2. This is a David Fincher film, and it is my favorite David Fincher film, and that is the movie Seven. So this is just a classic thriller, horror, crime movie from 1995 starring Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. It's just freaking awesome. I watched this for the first time a couple of years ago. Absolutely blew me away. And this is one, again, I'm so surprised we don't have this in 4K. It just feels like a movie that they would have already done by now. So, but yeah, this movie's great. It's got great cinematography. It's got great visuals. It would look fantastic in 4K, and we absolutely need it in the 4K format. So David Fincher, I really hope, again, he's got Fight Club. New Line Cinema has this. I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers is over New Line Cinema, but again, I could be wrong with that. But yeah, Seven. We need Seven in 4K. Make it happen in 2022. So getting into my number 2, guys. This is my favorite horror film of all time, and I've talked about this before, live stream, stuff like that, so it shouldn't come any surprise to most people, but The Exorcist. Why do we not have The Exorcist in 4K? This is another Warner Brothers release, so if they could pull off The Exorcist in 4K and Poltergeist in 4K in 2022, I would be super excited. But more than likely, guys, Poltergeist, this would be the 40th anniversary for, so that's why we're probably going to get that in 4K this year. This came out in 1973. You know how they like to align stuff with their anniversary. So this is more than likely going to come out in 2023, to be honest with you. Another big Warner Brothers release, probably lined up around September, October. But I would just really love it if they would throw that anniversary crap to the side and give this to us right now, because I need The Exorcist in 4K in 2022. This is, like I said, my favorite horror film of all time. Picturing the artwork on it. You know, Warner Brothers, when they want to, can do some really cool artwork with their releases. Same thing with Poltergeist. I need both of them in 2022, so give it to me. Give it to me now. The Exorcist in 4K. I need it. Love that movie so much. It would look so good. But getting into my last one, guys, this is the one that I was talking about. Like, they can put these out in 4K. They can put them out in Blu-ray. But Shout Factory, Scream Factory in 2022, you got to give us Nightmare on Elm Street, guys. This is my number 1. I'm still rocking the DVD set that came out, I think, in 2003, 2004. And I will not upgrade to Blu-ray. I'm not going to buy that Blu-ray set. I've heard too many terrible things about it. I've got Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, on Blu-ray to standalone release, but I'm not going to buy that set that came out. I've heard it's, you know, it's like multiple movies on the same disc. It's just, that's garbage. I'm not buying that. We need a definitive Nightmare on Elm Street collection. If they can come out with freaking Friday the 13th steelbooks and new releases for that, like every single month, it feels like, why can we not get a solid release for Nightmare on Elm Street? It just does not make any sense to me. So Warner Brothers, we need this to happen in 2022, whether or not you guys do it, whether or not Scream Factory, Shout Factory does it, which I'm pretty sure that they probably will. I think there's been too much leaked there for that not to happen. Whether it comes out this year or next year, who knows? But a Nightmare on Elm Street, guys. Hopefully we get that Scream Factory box set like we did the Friday the 13th one. Hopefully we get 4K scans on. I would like the first 4 films to have 4K scans, but if they just do the first 3, that would be good as well, because the first 4 had them for the Friday the 13th set. But again, that set had 12 movies in it, and this set's only going to have probably 9, because they'll probably throw Freddy vs. Jason in there again too. But Yeah, we need this, guys. I would love, again, I would love the 4K scans for the first 4 because I think that Dream Master would look fantastic with a 4K scan. But if you can't do it, guys, just give us the first 3 with the 4K scans, and then the rest with standard Blu-rays. But you know, whatever. I just want that definitive set with all the Freddy's on it. If you just go again, we got a teaser image of it, which I'm gonna throw up again here, but. Nightmare on Elm Street's a solid, definitive Blu-ray box set from Scream Factory. Again, if Warner Brothers wants to do a really cool box set, I would be down with that as well, but I really want that Scream Factory box set. So Nightmare on Elm Street, guys, needs to happen. 4Ks, Blu-rays, whatever they want to do in 2022. So with that, guys, that is my 10 4Ks that I need to happen in 2022. Again, let me know what your top 10, your top 5 most anticipated, or the 4K titles that you need the most in 2022 in that comment section below. Also, be sure to like this video, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all of those future videos, and we'll see you next time.